The two video works speak about the language around invasive species in America and how they allude to a lot of xenophobic, anti-immigrant sentiment that have, impacted policies and ways of thinking about foreign bodies. It was originally started from this interest I had in national parks and how the national parks founding is very much related to historically anti-immigrant policies and ways of thinking around territory and who can come into what spaces and who are pushed away from these spaces. So there's a lot of rich history around influential people of the national parks or even founders of the parks themselves being called out as racists or eugenicists or have written manifestos about, who is superior, who belongs in America. And meanwhile, of course, there's the undeniable history of pushing out indigenous tribes from these lands and suddenly declaring these lands as parks. So very interested in these histories of delineated territories in America. Naturalization is a shorter form video which utilizes abstract, saturated colors and imagery to point towards this documentary style of nature that also alludes to these horror movie tropes that use a lot of ominous soundscapes, and most importantly, overlaid on top of these sounds and images are text that are appropriated from existing news articles, news headlines, things biologists have said or park rangers have said that speak about invasive species and are presented in this video in a really ambiguous way where you could be talking about just foreign human immigrants and no longer just, these flora and fauna species. I'm interested in creating that tension with that ambiguity.
Are you an invasive species?
In the larger video work, Certain Aliens, this work employs fictional characters by actors who are playing national parks rangers. And in this video, I have used a script of prompts to ask questions to the actors, and they've improvised responses to these prompts. So this video is much more playful and much more satirical, but still points towards their very real concepts that people believe in about, things that shouldn't exist in certain places. I thought it was a playful experiment to see how people think and talk about invasive species from figures of authority who may be in proximity to, other authority figures, but at the same time, in this case, are also related to conservationists and biologists and care for the environment in a way that maybe other authority figures in America don't.